Go ahead with questions.
So what's it like to be officially part of that on-field coaching staff leading the running backs?
Well, it's been a great spring. Coach Elliott did a great job of making the transition for me real smooth, just giving me a lot of knowledge and understanding of how to handle, some of the guys that's in the room. Obviously, he did a great job of recruiting all those guys, so he kind of gave me some backstories of, their personalities, but then kind of just going through the spring and kind of just filling all the guys out for myself kind of gave me a better understanding of how I'm going to be able to manage the room. So it's been great, been learning a lot since I took over from all these veteran coaches that we have on coaching staff, and then obviously with our head coach, Coach Swinney, he's been great at just giving me some wisdom and knowledge and some things that I can have to be able to help our guys be successful.
What's been the toughest part of the transition for you? You go from playing to all of a sudden now you're leading a bunch of young men trying to do what you have done successfully in the NFL for so many years.
Well, I think the toughest thing is just getting these guys' mindset that I'm not that player, because they still kind of see me as that player because I'm not that far removed from playing. I think that was one of the toughest things to get them to understand. But Coach Caldwell did a great job of telling me make sure these guys are respecting me, calling me coach, because if you kind of let it go up under the rug, then you'll never kind of get a good grasp of your position. So I just try to just go in there and just be myself and let them guys understand that, hey, I'm not that player anymore. Obviously, I had a great career, but now I'm here to help you to try to go out and be successful in life.
Coach, you got a lot of guys competing for playing time this season. You think with Chez's transfer, that's kind of given the guys who stayed kind of an opportunity?
Well, I mean, we wish Chez the best. You hate to see a guy leave the program, but when he does, it does give other guys more opportunities. And the biggest thing for us just always going to be about competition. Especially in the running back position. It's going to take more than one person to get through the season, and you never know when your opportunity is going to come. So I always tell the guys, prepare just like you the starter, because you never know when that time is going to come for you to be the starter. So if you're not prepared, then I don't have the trust or the faith to put you out there. So, but all my guys have done a great job of that this spring, of making sure that they prepared just like they the starters, just in case we do have some little small injuries here and there, that I can just plug you right in there and you'll be ready to go, because at the end of the day, the standard's not going to change. No matter who runs out there, it's still going to be set at a high level. So I'm excited about that part, and I'm going to do a great job of trying to manage all those personnel that want to get on the field. There's only one football. We're not like the receivers that have, you can put 3 guys out there. You can only put running back on the field. So, as long as we don't let our egos get in the way or let jealousy, get in there, I think we'll be perfectly fine.
Coach, what were your overall impressions of Will Shipley after full spring?
He's going to be real good. Will did a great job of just coming in and just really wanting to learn. He was very eager to come in and learn the playbook. He's one of those guys that sometimes you might have to pull him back a little bit because he want to learn so much, and you just want him to just take it one day at a time. But he come from a great foundation in his high school up there at Wellington with his coach, and so you kind of see that translating over here to Clemson now. So I'm excited about seeing him grow as a player. He's going to have hopefully a special career while he's here at Clemson.
Do you think he could be a prolific return man like you were?
No, I don't want him to be like me. I want him to be like Will Shipley. And that's the thing that I tell him, because I know those comparisons are going to happen. And I don't want that added pressure to him. So I just try to tell him, man, just go be Will Shipley. I'm going to give him the pointers of how I seen it when I was a returner. But, I don't need you to try to go and be the same returner that I was. Go be better than I was. Go break the NCAA record if that happens. So I'm going to give him all the knowledge and the wisdom and kind of see, the things that I seen as a returner, but don't try to go out, be back there and try to do what I did, So that's all. That's been really my biggest message to these guys this spring, is just go and be yourself. I don't want you to try to go be nobody else but yourself, and, especially when it came to Will.
How has the position evolved since you were playing here at Clemson and even in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, you see the running back position. Guys are more involved in the passing game. Offensive coordinators are splitting guys out wide more. You're just trying to find those mismatches that you can attack a defense on. So that's kind of, it's more of a a spread type. You know, when I was here, you know, we were more traditional up under the center. And then now these guys have all these 6'4", 6'3", 6'5" receivers. Well, we only have maybe 6'2", 6 foot. You know, my counterpartner, Jacoby Ford, was, you know, 5'9" at best. So, you know, the game definitely does evolve, but, you know, that's great for our game because it should evolve. And it's been great to see it evolve over the last several years.
This might be a simple question, but what does Clemson mean to you?
Clemson mean to me? It means everything. This is a place that I've known since 2006. You know, this is literally like a second home, and the people here make it so special. And I think that's what makes people come here and stay here and want to live here even when they're done playing. I think it's just the people here, how well they treat you. They treat you like a family member, you know, because it is a family. And, you know, that's why I decided to come here, because it reminded me so much of Lake Butler, Florida.
Kind of along those same lines, obviously there are a lot of coaches who did, you know, play at Clemson or come to Clemson. How does that affect the dynamic of just kind of connecting with players and things like that?
Say again?
How does that affect the dynamic of connecting with players and stuff, being that there are so many of y'all who played at Clemson that are now on the coaching staff?
Well, the great thing is that they know that we understand that we're going to take great pride into this program. So, you know, obviously a lot of stuff that changed for us, from like the facilities and all that stuff, but the foundation is still the same. So we're able to relay that message because we've been there. You know, these same strength coaches, some of them that's in there, they was our strength coaches. So it's a lot of ways that we can relate to these guys. We know what the grind's like on a daily basis. So, you know, I think that's why, you know, Coach love hiring former players, because they know what the program stands for. They know the foundation of it. And when you have a great understanding of the foundation, you can relay that message to the younger guys. And that's kind of been one of my things, is just really letting these guys know that I take great pride into my school, you know, and I don't take this thing for granted. You know, you can't, you know, come here and just get by. You're gonna be pushed to the max, both academically and athletically. So, you know, if those guys have an understanding of that, then they'll have a great college experience.
CJ, Will came in very highly touted, obviously, but
Yep.
Is there anything about him that has surprised you?
Well, I kind of caught myself going back and watching some high school highlights of Will, just because I guess wanting to get a better understanding of the type of person he is. But the thing that, you know, that I'm really struck by is just the type of person that he is. You know, he's very well mannered. Obviously, I wasn't involved with the recruiting with Will, so, you know, that was, you know, being able to just get to know him as a person. He's very smart. He's about his business. You know, hopefully he won't be a guy that I have to worry about at night, because I know he's going to do things the right way. He has goals that he want to hit while he's here at Clemson. You know, my job here is to try to help him achieve those goals, but just being very blown away by how well-mannered he is. He's well advanced for his age. He has a game plan for his life, and a lot of young people don't have a game plan. They just out here just living. But he has a game plan for his life. He knows where he wants to go. You know, I don't want to say it's, you know, similar to my mindset when I was in high school, but it's very similar to how I was thinking when I came to Clemson, of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve, and I went about my business of doing it. So he kind of reminds me in that regard that he's well-mannered, and he has the right mindset to be a great college football player and a great student.
What about your other freshman, Phil Mafah?
Big Phil, yeah.
Looked like he had a pretty good combination of size and speed.
Yeah, he has great combination of size and speed. You know, he's big. He has very soft feet. Can catch the ball very well out the backfield. And then he's so soft-spoken. You know, he's very quiet. But, you know, as the spring went on, he kind of opened up and, you know, loosened up to the guys. And that's something that we needed in our room, because it's going to take all of us this fall to be successful. But he's gonna do a great job for us and be a big addition, because he's a bigger body than all the guys in the room. But, you know, I'm excited to watch him and Will grow together. You know, they kind of complement each other very well. Pretty much like brothers. They always hanging out together. So it's great when you see two young players come in and have that mindset of wanting to be great. and doing what it takes to be great. So I'm excited about just watching him grow as a player and as a person.
What do you like most about this group of players? Again, you don't have that lead feature guy like Etienne, like you guys have had for years, but you have a bunch of hungry, young, potential stars in that group.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing that I love most about these guys, they all come here ready to work, and they all come here ready to learn, and that's the biggest thing that you want as a coach. You know, guys that's coming here eager to learn, that's going to put on that hard hat and just go to work. Set their egos aside. You know, that's one of my things that I tell them. You leave your ego at the door. You pick it up as you exit the meeting, because we can't have any egos in our room. You know, I'm going to push you. And, you know, I'm going to do a great job of, you know, complimenting you too, tapping you on your butt, letting you know that you've done a great job. But when we come in that meeting room, you know, it's all about business. It's all about, you know, how can we get better as a player? How can we get better as a person? These guys did a great job of that this spring. Just coming in and just really just getting a feel for me, because I'm new, you know, so they kind of had, you know, they obviously know I played the position, but it's a difference between playing the position and coaching the position. So, you know, they trying to get a feel for, you know, how I coach and how I demand things, you know, because they're hearing a different voice compared to what they'd have heard the last 5 to 6 years.
You talk about that voice. Are you finding your voice as that coach and being more comfortable in that role?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable in the role. I mean, it's still a long road ahead of me. It's still a whole learning process for me, but I'm getting more and more comfortable with the role that I have, and I understand that this is it's a high standard in our room, and I don't take that for granted. And I understand that each and every day that this is a blessing to be in the position that I am, because not every day you get to coach at your alma mater. So for me to be able to do that, my first stop, I guess, to get my coaching career going, I take that to heart. I take great pride into that. You know, I don't take that for granted. So I'm gonna do the best job I can with it and see where it goes.
What would it mean to reap some of the benefits of the foundation that some of your teams set here at Clemson if you guys were able to do that this year?
Well, it'd be great for our players. I really don't look at it into going into, like, you know, want to reach some of the benefits that, you know, some of these guys set before some of these guys that came here. You know, you just want to make sure that these guys that's here now, that they're able to enjoy their benefits, you know, while they're here. So, you know, I really not try to get into, you know, oh man, I want to win this because I didn't win as a player. You know, my job is to come here and try to help these guys be the best version of themselves, both as a football player and as a person. And then whatever comes with it. But, you know, I'm not going into it that, man, I want to win this or win that because I didn't do it as a player. You know, I had a great career while I was here at Clemson. Now it's my time to pour back into these guys so they can have a great career while they're here at Clemson.
Coach, do you need one guy to step up and be the alpha dog in the next month?
You asking, do I need a guy to step up and be the alpha?
One guy to separate himself.
Well, I mean, we have great leadership in our room. You know, you got Lyn-J Dixon that have been here 4 years. You got, you know, Darren Richard that have been here 6 years. So we have great leadership in this room. So those two are the older guys, and I'm really leaning on those guys to help, you know, pour back into these younger guys, give them the wisdom that they done learned over their career. But as far as, you know, having just that one lead dog, I don't think we need that because it's going to take a collective effort from everybody. Then years past, you know, you always had Travis. But I think, you know, as a running back, you know, it's going to take, you know, multiple guys for us to be successful.
As far as ball carrying?
As far as ball carrying, yeah. Because, I mean, you never know what can happen in the game, you know. So you got to make sure that everybody's in your room. You got to make sure that they prepared. Because, you know, if somebody goes down, that don't mean that the standard got to go down. The standard won't go down. You know, the standard's still going to stay the same. It's going to be set at it's a high bar in there. You know, from guys like Terry Allen that came through this program, James Davis, Wayne Gallman's, the Andre Ellingtons, you know, the Reggie Mayweather. So, you know, there's a high standard in our room. So it doesn't matter who run out there. You know, those guys that's out there on the sideline watching you, they're going to expect you to go out there and get your job done. So I just got to do a good job of making sure that every guy that's in my room, that they prepared to go just in case, you know, some injury happen, because we know playing this game, injury does happen.
What did you see from Kobe Pace this spring?
Yep.
And what are you looking for from him going into the fall?
Kobe did a great job of just coming in and really just learning more about the offense. Obviously, last year he was a freshman, and he played a little bit here and there, but not that much. But the biggest thing you kind of want Kobe to see him as a player, just continue to just get a grasp of the offense, honestly, understanding both the running game and the passing game, understanding why I need to be where I need to be. And I think if he does that, I think he'll have a great season. So we'll see. We'll just continue to. He's off to a great start with the spring, but now it's a fall camp that's getting ready to come. So hopefully, I know these guys had a great summer, but now it's time to build on that foundation that we set in the spring.
What have you seen from Lyn-J since Etienne left? What have you seen from him? And can he hold off some of these young guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's been very vocal. He took on that leadership role. He's helping these young guys. He's been around a lot, so he's making sure that these young guys understand, the standard that's been set. Also, when it comes to the playbook, what to expect. How defense is going to play here. So he's been very more vocal. I say not only been around him, I guess you say a year and a half. Spending time with him, was been around him last year, as I understanding Coach Elliott. But I can see now that he's more vocal than he was last year.
Okay, CJ Spiller from year 1 to year 2. What have you learned so far? What's the difference between
I mean, this biggest difference now is that I'm running the room. Last year I kind of just came in and just really just sat back and really watched how Coach Elliott managed different personalities. How he was able to get his message across. Now I'm in that role, so that's really been the biggest difference. But me, I'm the same person that I was last year. Obviously I grew as a person, but I haven't changed. I'm still that guy that's from Lake Butler, Florida. That's very humble. That's hardworking. Want to help people. And that's my job now, is to help these guys go off and be successful in life.
When you're coaching, do you hear an old coach coming out of you sometimes? Do you hear somebody?
Yeah, I do. My high school coach, the late Buddy Nobles, he used to always preach to me about, doing certain things, and now that I'm in it, some of those conversations that I had with him start coming back to my mind. I mean, Coach Burns that I had here when I was a freshman, some of those messages that he gave me as a young player, some of those conversations come back. So, some conversations that you had with some coaches along your career, they start coming back to your mind, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what Coach was talking about. So that's kind of been fun, to kind of reminisce and get to kind of, go back down memory lane for a little bit. But at the end of the day, I just have to be myself and kind of just take away from what those great coaches have poured into me as a player, so I can pour it into my guys.
So one conversation with Coach Burns?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Coach Burns just used to always just come in the room and just tell me to just be myself. He understood the magnitude of my recruitment, and he didn't want me to come in here and put any more pressure on myself that needed to be. So he just wanted me to come in and just be me. He didn't want me to try to be nobody else, and that's kind of been my message to my guys. I don't want you to be nobody else, because there will be a lot of comparisons as you go forth in your career, but if you just be yourself, you'll be perfectly fine.
Kobe Pace has obviously impressed you guys through the spring. What have you seen from him that's really jumped out?
Just the way that he just came in and really just learned everything. Just really just taking on that role, wanting to be better as a player. Coming in, obviously he played a little bit last year, not much, so for him it's just all about just learning the overall offense. And that's really been my message, honestly, to the whole group is, don't just learn, what you're doing, know why you're doing it. Understand why the offensive line is blocking this guy. Understand why you need to be here on this pass route. So all those guys have done a great job of doing that. But, like I said, Kobe, he done a great job of just coming in and just trying to learn more about the offense than what he done in the past. Because last year he had Travis. So you really, you learned it, but you really didn't have to learn it because you didn't know if you was really going to play a lot. But now this year with Travis gone, now everybody, that's behind Lyn-J and Rentry really having to learn this offense. But even those two guys, they still want to learn. I think you can never get in life where you just stop learning. That's when you get complacent, and that's what I don't want from my guys. I want them to always learn. Even though you've been in this thing 5 or 6 years, you always can learn something. So that's what separates good players from great players. You look at Tom Brady. Every year he starts over. And, every year he has a new notepad. I had a conversation with Ray Lewis. Every year he went into a team meeting. Every year he had a new notepad because you always want to learn as a player, and that's the thing that I want my guys to do. I want them to always be willing to learn.
How would you describe Will Shipley's style?
Will Shipley's style? It's very unique. He can obviously catch the ball well out the backfield. He can run between the tackles, can run on the edge. Got great return skills. But he's just a very well-mannered young man. Very respectful, all about his business. Comes in, want to learn. There's no ego with Will. He's asking questions. He's trying to learn from the upper guys like Lyn-J and Darian, and they're doing a great job of helping him along the way. So, been just very pleased with the way that he does handle himself, considering the recruitment of him being a 5-star. Because sometimes it's hard to manage those guys because they come in with these high expectations or something must be given to them because of that. But that's the opposite of Will Shipley. He want to earn everything that he gets, and as a young coach and get to watch that's been a beauty to see.
How much are you enjoying the recruiting side?
Yeah, yeah, man, that's been fun. Being able to get on the call with different coaches, just letting them get to know me. Obviously, they know me as a player, but now they kind of just really get to know me as a person. Same thing with the recruits. A lot of these guys, they try to make me feel old, be like, oh, I played with you on NCAA, or I played with you in Madden, but they only see me as a player. So now this is a perfect opportunity for these guys to get to know me as a person, because at the end of the day, that's what recruiting is. It's all about people. How well do they know you as a person, and how well do you know them as a person? So it's been fun, but it's something that I continue to learn about, continue to grow as a coach, continue to see where I can get better at when it comes to that.
Are recruits aware that Dabo gives you a lot of credit as kind of almost being one of the few guys that kind of began to put this program on the map? I mean, do they understand kind of your stature here, CJ?
Yeah, I mean, they are very well aware of that. I mean, these guys this generation are well advanced, because of the iPhones that we have and, the articles that they can pull up. So they're aware of that, but I never try to bring that up to these guys. My biggest thing is just letting them get to know me as a person. I never try to bring up, what I accomplished here at Clemson. If they ask me, we'll talk about it, but if they don't, then we're gonna talk about, how your day going, how's mom and dad doing, how's little brother and little sister doing, stuff like that. Just some casual conversation, not too much about, what I accomplished here, but they are very well aware of, the career that I had here at Clemson.
Do you ever take some time to kind of think about how crazy it is that Clemson probably recruited you about as hard as any 5-star player in the history of this program, and now you're in a position with the program on top of really going after and recruiting hard 5-star players as well.
I never really kind of sit back and kind of think about that stuff. I just take it as, what can I do to get a young man to believe in our program? The biggest thing here is getting guys on campus. I have a great understanding of our foundation. Considering that, I'd have been in, I'd have done it, I'd have went through the whole process, so I have a great appreciation for that. So now it's just, how can I relay that message that I know to these younger guys so they can understand it? So I just try to just go in and just be myself. And I understand that, recruiting that changed since I came out of high school. So, I'm being able to adapt to that. But at the end of the day, it's just all about just being yourself.
How much did you learn from Dabo as far as recruiting? And now that I know we've had the COVID year, so you haven't had a chance to do a lot of in-home stuff or anything like that at all. Yeah. But is maybe Dabo still arguably the greatest recruiter you've been around as far as closing out the deal and getting kids interested? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing that I learned from Coach Swinney is just communication. Just be yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you're doing. Stay true to your core values. You know, don't waver from that, and then really just when you talk to recruiters, just be you. You know, and that's kind of what Coach Swinney was throughout my recruitment. He wasn't trying to be Coach Urban Meyer. You know, he wasn't trying to be Lane Kiffin. He was just trying to be Coach Swinney, and that's the thing. That's what I love the most about him, that he was just really down to earth. Wasn't a lot of hoopla around him. Wasn't a lot of, you know, glitz and glamour around him. He was just being himself. You know, he was just upfront and honest. And as a recruit for myself, that's what I was looking for. You know, I never told the recruiters that, but every time I sat down and talked to him, that was in the back of my mind. Like, oh, this guy really just being himself? Is he upfront? Is he honest? Is he trustworthy? Do he care about his players? And then you just talk to his guys when you get on the school, when you get to the campus. You know, and I was able to have some conversations with some of his players and some of the guys, and you know, they say that's who he was, and you know, so that box was able to check off for me. And so that's kind of that's some of the things that I'm gonna try to take as I get started with this coaching work.
Any recruiting story that jumps out at you? If you think back to your days and with schools coming at you, you don't even have to maybe name a coach or a school, but was there one particular approach or one crazy happening or a school that really blew you away with something unique when you were on a visit?
All the visits was very unique. Obviously, you know, growing up in the state of Florida, you know about the Florida and the Seminole battle, but you know, it was a great opportunity for me to step outside the state. Went out to Southern Cal, was able to watch Reggie play against Fresno. That was a very unique experience. You know, it lived up. You know, that was my first time really going to California. So you hear the stories about Hollywood, but it lived up to the Hollywood. And then when you come here to Clemson, you know, it's more of a family atmosphere, close community, close-knitted, and it reminded me so much of Blake Buck. And, you know, this was, you know, I tell the story all the time. This was honestly the only visit where I called my mom on a visit, called her and told her this is a place where I can come and spend for 3 or 4 years, you know. And that was coming off, you know, a Florida visit when Urban Meyer had just got there. You know, that's coming off going to Tallahassee with the legendary coach Bobby Bauer. You know, that was, you know, having already been out there to Pete Carroll. So to come here and be able to call back home and tell my mom that this is a place that I can come and play for 3 or 4 years, it says something about this place. You know, I think that's why it's so special, because it's so different than every other place, where you can come here and just be yourself, but people here are going to treat you like family, and that's what you want. But every guy process is different. You know, I knew what I wanted in my process. I knew what I was looking for in the school in my process. You know, so I don't expect, you know, guys to look for the same things that I looked for as a player when I was coming out of high school, and I got to be, and I have been willing to accept that. But I can still do a great job of selling our program and getting guys to understand the foundation and the core values and the things that we believe in as a program, because I'd have lived it and I'd have been through it. And I think if you're able to do that, guys are able to relate to you, and they just want you to be authentic with them. And that's kind of what my mindset been with all these recruiters. I just want to be authentic with you. I don't want to, you know, try to blow smoke with nobody. You know, I want to be real with you because, you know, my name means a lot to me. This school means a lot to me. My character means a lot to me. So if I can just be myself, then I think I'll be fine.
All right, thank you, CJ.
Thank y'all guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Coach.